I just saw it a couple weeks ago. Is your appearance on Married with Children, which is legit funny. It's not one of these stunt castings where the guys are kind of like, like Wayne Gretzky on Saturday Night Live, where he can't act and it's very stone delivery. It's really funny. Once again, one of the like classic moments in Anthrax's career.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets talked about all the time. I mean, I can't believe how much people talk about it.
Yeah, I think about that week. I mean, that's one of those things that I think about it a lot, like it'll just pop because, Married with Children pops up, or you see Ed O'Neill, or Katie Segal. I just heard her on something, and, you see Christina Applegate, and you see these people. So that boom, the memory comes back, and it's a great memory. It was an unbelievable week, just unbelievable.
The story about it is originally we were pitched for The Simpsons, and The Simpsons had already had their season all done. So it got passed around, and then the producers of Married with Children wrote this episode around us. And that's how it happened. And I'll never forget the first day we're at the table read, and we're all sitting there and like, what the fuck, Like all these people are sitting around us from the show, and it was crazy. And then we took a break and went outside, and there's Tony Danza.
Yeah.
Just right there. You remember that?
Yeah. Who's the boss was right next door.
It was so surreal, man.
That was surreal.
Nuts.
And it was great just hearing at that table read, just watching like Ed O'Neill do his lines with Katie, and, going over stuff, and the laughs right there. What didn't work, what worked. That was so much fun, man. And we were just like kids in the candy stores. Yeah, this is awesome. It's great.
Yeah. We were all fans of that show, so, and we had met them before. We got to play in one of those
softball
KNAC softball game, or
it was TJ Martell,
right?
TJ Martell.
So we had met them, but we never really hang out with them. But yeah, and then suddenly you're in their bubble, like in their world. And I mean, I gotta admit, I was super nervous. You're sitting there at the table, and I'm like seeing, like, oh my God, my line's coming up. Like you want to do a good job. You don't want to hold people up, but everyone was so nice.
Yeah.
And like,
They even changed the lines on us too a lot, so you couldn't really get set in your way, right?
Ed O'Neill would pull you aside. Like I remember one time he pulled me aside and he said, what? Say it like this with the inflection here, and then he would do it. And he'd go, try it like that. It might feel more natural. And I'd try it and be like, oh, thank you so much. Like it's just, he was so cool.
So the last day was Friday when they taped 2 shows, and they taped an early evening one, and then there's one about an hour after that. So we did the first one. We thought we did so great, and then they changed our lines for the next show.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh no.
We only had a couple of hours to learn our new lines and stuff like that. They kind of changed everything that was going on. I'm just going, really? It worked.
But it was way better. The second one was way better.
Totally. You were right about it. Totally.
There was one part of that. There was a part in the script where I was so happy that it was me, where Kelly basically decides she's going to sleep with one of us. And it turned out that just so happened it was me. And there was a part in the script and we even rehearsed it on the set, where she takes me by the hand and we'd walk up the stairs to go to the bedrooms. Of course, there's no bedrooms up there.
Yeah.
You go through that doorway. There's nothing back there. But when I found out that was happening, I mean, my head was exploding because, wait till all my friends see this. I mean, Married with Children was such a big show, and it's like, I'm going upstairs to have sex with Kelly Bundy, right? In fake TV world,
right.
That's amazing, right? So, cut to on the Thursday, we're at the read, and that whole thing is not in there. And I went over to one of the producers and I said, what happened to the scene where I go upstairs with Christina? And he said, yeah, she came in the office last night. And she was like, yeah, about that scene where I go upstairs with Scott. She's like, I know my character's a slut, but she's not that much of a slut. Come on. Pull the rug out from under me.
Another thing I love about it too, it's like Anthrax meets the Phantom of the Park. Super thick New York accents. The colors. If it's in the fridge, why is it warm?
You can't take that out, man. It ain't gonna happen.
Pearl still busts my balls every once in a while. I'll happen to say something about it. She goes, the colors.